All right, guys, we're going to just do a quick little live kind of update here. So we'll wait for a few people to join us and get the notifications. Just sitting out on the front porch here, just watching the sun go down after another long day. But we'll get to talking a bit more about what we're going to discuss here once we get joined by a few more people. So if anybody is at the moment online and seeing this, can you please just give me the thumbs up, and just also can you comment please that the audio is coming through okay? It should be fine, but I just want to make sure that it's coming through okay. So yeah, guys, look, we'll start by first of all, um, my apologies with not many updates over the last couple of weeks. I just got hammered in a lot of those storms, and there was a lot of flood damage to clean up. So basically, what happened was, okay, cool, audio all good. So, guys, what happened was, I've got trail cams around the property, and it was it was just after midnight, about 1 a.m. And I normally have my phone on silent if I'm sleeping, and it just kept vibrating and vibrating, and I'm just like, what is going on? And so one of the trail cameras that I've got down the front of the property is it just continually just went off. And anyhow, much to my surprise, here's my cattle, and it's just belting down rain. It was just unreal how much water there was. So anyhow, I went down to the front of the property, and yeah, there was basically a meter over a culvert that I've got of water just smashing through the property. It was insane. So what happened was it tore out a few fences above my shooting area. It tore that all out and was throwing boulders down through the property, which I didn't know about at the time. And then when I got down to the bottom of the property, it was like about, oh, I don't know, 50 meters across, and it just torn out the entire fence. Like I'm talking, hardwood posts just ripped out of the ground. The water was so extreme. I've never seen anything like it since I've been here. So, yeah, it was a fair bit to clean that up. So I've got things patched up. It took me until 2 o'clock the next day to get cattle back in. Um, and I tell you what, I was just had it. I was absolutely buggered. It was a really hot day. We'd reached 40 degrees, and it was, up around 95% humidity. And yeah, it was a long day. So, guys, I've had that and just other repair jobs around on the farm. And I've had a couple of family and friends that I've been catching up with for various reasons, helping them out. So yeah, I just haven't had the chance to get and do any reviews. So my apologies for it, guys. There's certainly more coming. On that note, I have finally probably the most requested review is the Templeton 2000, the shotgun. I have got one lined up for review, and it will be happening probably, I'd say, at this stage, very, very early in March. Okay, I've got to put aside a day for it. Got a friend coming around, bringing one around, so that will be reviewed. So apologies, guys. You will finally get my honest thoughts on that shotgun and what I think about it. Um, I've still got to finish off. I'm halfway through, believe it or not, that still the MSA 300 forestry saw. I'm doing that review, and I'm also tidying up just the last bits on the Greenworks UTV as well. So I filmed hours and hours of that. Also the chainsaw. So I've got a lot of stuff sitting there, pretty much ready to go. I just need to tidy it up with a few things, but you'll start seeing more rolling out over the coming weeks. But what I want to have a talk to you about, guys, is over the last few weeks, the amount of messages that I've received from WA shooters in general is astonishing, really. It's like, well, finally, you're waking up, with what's going on. I think the real big tipping point at the moment, I've got to look into it a bit more, but along the lines of farmers again have to basically declare the money they get for the buyback and then pay tax on it. So, feel free to comment in the comments below, guys, if you know the intricate details on the WA buyback. But, so I've had messages about that from numerous people. And and I'm not going to yell and carry on, guys, about it, but like I just want to know is when will the message sink in? When will it sink in? I've been doing this a long time, like I know how they work. And, you know, they will just always overreach and get more than what they propose they'll be doing. So, did any shooters know that you'd have to then claim the money you get from a buyback? Like that sort of thing. So, we've got all these little hidden things, just like in 1996. People didn't realize that the semi-auto 22s were going to be taken and pump shotguns as well, but hey, it came through, didn't it? You cannot give these people an inch, they will take a mile. And history has proven that since 1996. So, guys, like, you've got to be on your A game, on the front foot with this, and fight every single time there's even a sniff of a new proposed restriction. Because if you don't, have a look at WA. If you're in South Australia, the Territory, Northern Territory, ACT, Victoria, New South Wales, and Queensland, you would be foolish, in my view, to think that these type of restrictions aren't being thought about to be adopted here. This is the thing with the way that gun control works, is they always take the restriction side. So, for example, if you've got a more lax law in another state, you don't see your state adopting that, do you? They go, oh, no, we're not doing that. Or they use the excuse usually, oh, no, we make our own rules here. What Queensland do doesn't apply to us, for example, or vice versa. But if it's a restriction, I tell you what, they're pretty keen to adapt it, aren't they, and apply it in your state or territories. Because they'll go, oh, well, WA are doing that, or New South Wales have banned that, or we should do the same here in Queensland, and we should do the same here in Victoria. They all talk to one another. All these registries all talk to one another and work out and scheme new restrictions to impose on licensed shooters. You and I, that's what they do. I guess it just frustrates me, guys, because I've been doing it, as I said, for a long time and trying to just promote the message that you've got to get involved. You can't just sit behind your computer. Those days are gone. You can't just sit behind the computer, have a whinge online, and then just expect you've voiced your concerns online, and then therefore it's done. No, it's not done. You have to go and see your local member. At the very least, you have to at least tell them that you're not happy with the restrictions, and if they support it, they lose your vote. At a bare minimum, we've got to stand together. We've got to support each other and take a united front against this stuff, because this will continue on and on. I don't know what the tipping point is. I think WA shooters now are pretty much at a tipping point where they didn't think that this was so bad. And they're finally going, holy hell, we are losing a lot of our bolt action firearms here. Yes, they're coming for bolt action firearms as well. It's really frustrating. So please, like, I know a lot of you guys are with the program, so to speak, that watch my channel, but all of us know some shooters in WA, I'm sure, or all of us know some apathetic shooters that are out there, and they just need to be educated on the facts of exactly what goes on. These people will not stop until you have nothing left. All you've got to do is look how the media work in cohorts with the various governments, and what they promote and how they report negatively on various articles. For example, I've seen it before where they found, it was about going back about maybe 6, 7 years ago, and a guy had handed in, he had found a 22 round on the ground, and the media were reporting it as a high powered bullet, found on the ground in public. And you're just looking at it, any of us who shoot, just going, are you serious? It's just a 22. But, they reported that. So where I'm going with this, guys, is if they can do that like that, what do you think is going to happen to your CZ bolt action 22 or 22 Magnum once they get everything else that they want to get? They're not going to stop. You would be totally foolish to believe that they are just going to stop at 300 Win Mag or 338 Lapua. It's going to come down the line, because what's going to happen next 308 military sniper round, isn't it, in the eyes of the media? So that'll be gone. Then what about 6.5 Creedmoor? What about the different military units that have adapted that as their cartridge? What then? I mean, even a 22 has been used in the Gulf War. They used to have them suppressed in Ruger 1022s. So what are they going to do? Say this was a military round used by military assassins to kill people, and then they'll start pushing for a ban on that as well. Like, it doesn't stop. They will always manipulate words, and they will continue to find ways to ban firearms and calibers and everything else. I saw on the firearm blog today, I had a quick look, and I normally keep up to date with a lot of the news from the US there. And I see how in California now, they are basically reporting via credit card purchases online for firearms a special code, which obviously gets flagged and logged. So, if you think that's not coming here, you would be very foolish. Also, in my view, it is definitely going to come here, guys. We are going to see restrictions come from all angles. So, where does this end up? One of two things: either civilian firearm ownership is completely gone here in Australia, and you'll end up with the criminals, they'll still have firearms. So you either give up your guns or you end up becoming a criminal, or the other option is you stand and fight while you do have a voice, while we do have 1 million of us across Australia. There are ways to prevent this and definitely stall it and prolong it, in my view. And it's called voting as one. Like, we've got to do it, guys. There's got to be no more infighting. I know I keep saying it, but I will keep saying it because there's going to be nothing left if you don't do that. If you don't get involved and you start voting away from the majors, there will be nothing left because they are winning massively. And look at what happens over in WA when you have a majority Labor government over there. They can do what they want because they're unopposed. Like, no one can stop them. So it doesn't matter what you do with all the firearm laws with the current government over there, you can't stop it. It's going through, and you're about to feel what it's like to have a pineapple inserted up your rear end, so to speak. It's bad, and it's going to spread like a virus throughout all this woke anti-gun, I guess, agenda is a better term for it. So, guys, ideas about it. Even though I've posted about it numerous times, I still get asked, so I will repeat it here. What do you have to do? What's the best way to do it? Think about if you were in the situation where something is being banned and you were in a politician's shoes, what would you pay attention to? Yep, you'd pay attention to people coming down and making an appointment, wouldn't you? You'd pay attention to uh, great numbers of people either attending your office or writing to you because, yeah, one email, one letter, yeah, that's okay. But then when you've got 100 people turning up or 100 letters being written, well, obviously that's going to start making a bit more of an impact, isn't it? Then when you increase that, you're looking at 500 or 1,000 people. I can assure you it makes a big difference when you've got that amount of people in a member's electorate turn up and say, hey, we don't want this. But how many people really do that? I mean, I've had people I know where I've asked them, to come along. And, oh, mate, I, I got the kids' soccer. Oh, the missus would kill me, all this sort of thing. There's you can just see it's blatant excuses, and I just say to them, look, each to their own. But what are you going to do when they're coming for your last firearm? Is that going to be the tipping point where you put off the kids' soccer, or you have a talk to your partner and say how important this is and why you need to just go out for 2 or 3 hours? You know, this is what needs to happen. We have to start standing up. And the other thing, as I've said as well, guys, but I will say it again: get behind people like the Shooters Union. Get behind people who are active. Get behind people who are doing media releases, who are there in the media, who actually have contact with media outlets and are getting our message out there and our voice. Don't start like trying to abuse them online because there's something that they've done that you don't like and all the rest of it. Okay, say for example, no one supports them and they just go away. Then what? Who are you going to rely on then? Who? This is what I mean. We don't have the luxury like we do in the US, where we have, Second Amendment Foundation, and you've got the NRA, and you've got several organizations over there that are fighting for gun rights. We don't have that luxury here in Australia. So if you've got someone who's standing up and pushing forward for us, and actually you can see the results and see what they're doing, get behind them. I mean, I haven't caught up with Graham Park now for maybe about, I don't know, maybe about 8 weeks, because as I said, I've been pretty busy here, and I've just had other priorities. Um, but it's long overdue. I have had a talk to him on the phone about 4 weeks ago to get an idea of what's been going on. And those guys are busy. Like, they are literally busy, like reaching out to media, getting their media statements done, meeting with other gun-friendly, um, what do you call it, political parties, and actually formulating ideas, getting a gist for what's going on, what the current government who are in power are intending to do. Like, there is a lot of stuff going on. And I mean, without them, like, where would we be? Like, seriously. Like, they have had so many wins. You've only got to talk to the shooters that have had the shooters union represent them in court, and they've won the right to have their firearms back, or to get a license over the line, all that sort of thing. What other organisation, has had such a history of doing that for its members? So, guys, I guess, look, I won't waffle on about it more with that, but just get behind the people who support us. You know what I mean? Um, just, yeah. And even different parties, shooters, fishers, and farmers, like, they've got new candidates coming up for different elections. And I've had them message me, and they've said, no, well, my policy is this. They're not exactly the same as the other people that you may or may not be disappointed with in the past. So all I'm saying is, give those people a shot, give them a go, get behind them, because what's your alternative? And for the people who say, oh, like, I've got to vote Labor because, my award relies on it, I see that as a complete fallacy. Have a look at what Labor do. They historically tax the crap out of you and I that contribute to society and actually work, and just give it away to all the people who are on welfare. Don't get me wrong, there are some legitimate people on welfare, but I'm talking about the people who wrought the system. And, they've got everything from free childcare, free healthcare, all the rest of it. Who's paying for that? We are. So what you need to do is you need to look at these minor parties and go, okay, well, if that person from, say, Shooters, Fishers and Farmers, or Katter Party, or I don't know, Liberal Democrats, or whatever party, even an independent, if that person got in your electorate and you had an issue, like industrial relations wise, do you think they're just going to turn you away? Like, they'd probably sit down and talk to you more and actually speak up for you more than what a lot of these other mainstream or major parties would. So, like, just give them a go, guys. Like, what have you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose: your firearms, your freedom, because it includes, obviously four-wheel driving, fishing, just hunting in general, whether you like spear fishing or bow hunting or anything like that. All that's under threat. The whole lot is under threat. So if you care about actually having a life here in Australia where you have freedoms to go out, do your camping, do your hunting, do your fishing, get out with your kids and raise them with some of the freedoms and values that you were also raised with, I would strongly suggest you start looking away from the majors as soon as possible. If not immediately, would probably be how I would look at it in my view, because these people are trying to take away everything we have. And there's this new push now with the younger generation who are very much green, woke left aligned, because they know no better. That's what they've been fed throughout the education system. And unless they come from the bush out, like around these areas where I am, then you see the younger generation actually think for themselves, and they're not so caught up in all that movement. But have a look at the inner city guys, and you can see it's going green. So what has to happen there? Well, we have to have a member in parliament who can fight against that, because they're increasing their numbers all the time. And here we are sitting on 1 million licensed shooters, if you include family and people that we know who would join us, we've all got, best mates who perhaps don't shoot, um, you know, they join us. So even if we had 2 million licensed shooters like across Australia, or 2 million people that could vote in any election, whether it be federal, obviously the states will, drop those numbers down, but we've got, like, I think it was about 220,000 licensed shooters here in Queensland alone. Like, that's massive. Even if you double that and then you vote away from the majors, guys, like, you will seriously make an impact on every election. Doesn't matter whether it's your local election, your state election, or a federal election. You can actually make a massive, massive impact on that. Um, like, it's so frustrating, guys. We have in our hands the power to change all this. You want to start seeing Cat C being used, for voluntary feral pest control. So you just get a letter, from a property owner saying you're doing feral pest control. So therefore, you get your Cat C license. It only needs to change one word to voluntary pest control, and all of that opens up to licensed shooters. That's all that would need to change. So you wouldn't have to change the categories or try to remove them back or whatever. That can change. What do you think can happen with suppressors? Yeah, that can change as well. But it requires all of us to do something. Like, we're not going to get the changes, guys, like just sitting on Facebook, infighting, whinging, all the rest of it. But the apathy in the shooting community not only has killed the shooting community to where it is now, in my view, but it will continue to kill the community until there is absolutely nothing left. Case in point, have a look at WA. What do you think they're going to do next once they get these laws over the line? They will come down the line for the calibers. All of a sudden, you won't be shooting anything more than 243 or 270. Then when they've got that in, then it'll come down the line. No, 223. Oops, sorry, 223, 556. That's military. We need to take that off to save the children. That's what they'll be carrying on about. Then they'll go down the line again. 222. Oh, well, that's pretty close to 223, the scary military caliber. Well, we've got to take that as well. So they'll just keep going until there's absolutely nothing left. I mean, it was 2016, guys. I did the video on the last Australian shooter where I told you my predictions on what would happen. Do you know how much of that has come true? And geez, did I cop some flack over it? Oh, Ozzie, you're crazy. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm not. All I did was just look from 2016 back to 1996 and had a look at all the restrictions we've had, and also look at the proposed restrictions that we've fought in different states, also at a federal level, and you can clearly see it. Honestly, guys, someone in primary school could see how obvious this is. If you can't see it, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to see it. They are out to disarm all of us. They want nothing left. I think I have mentioned this once before, but have a look too what's going on in the UK at the moment. This is kind of firearm related in a roundabout kind of way. They've had a ban on all bully breeds of dogs over there now. And I read some articles on calls here in Australia looking at more bans on dog breeds. So, it's going to get to the stage where unless you own a Chihuahua or one of the little fluffy dogs, you can't have that because that's too dangerous. So you won't be able to have firearms. That'll be too dangerous. Hunting knives will be gone. That's too dangerous. What next? What are they going to ban next? Are they going to ban people from being able to defend themselves by, learning martial arts or something, or boxing or something? I don't know. But just have a look at what's going on, guys. If you cannot get a feel for what's going on at the moment and just feel the change in the air with what's coming, I don't know why you wouldn't wake up to it or be awake to it. It is very real. And the things that are happening now are things that people were suggesting would never happen, could never happen. WA, that can never happen. No one's going to take bold actions from us. Bold actions were permitted in 1996. Yeah, but you know what? Ever since 1996, they've been doing their darndest to get every bold action away from us as much as they can. I mean, for God's sake, guys, you can't even have a single shot Savage Rascal 22 LR in New South Wales. banned. And there's a 22 that's banned. Like, they don't care. They don't care about common sense. Common sense, reality, facts mean absolutely nothing. To them, it's emotion, and they will push the emotion as hard as they can. They will call any caliber a death machine or whatever they want. I mean, look at the recent stuff there with the wedge tail pump. It was so what's the word? Just so one-sided, with an agenda, and the way they articulated it and worded it and everything like that was simply to push further agenda. So, guys, look, I guess I won't waffle on anymore with it. This is just, like I say, a quick update, and I'm sorry it's getting a little dark out here at the moment. But it was just a quick update to say, hey, look, I'm still alive. I've just had an absolute ton of work to be doing. And unfortunately, I've just had to drop the reviews back so I could get all my stock back, get the place cleaned up and all that sort of thing. That's really taken the priority. And as I said, I've had a couple of family and friends that have really needed me for a few personal issues. So yeah, unfortunately, I just haven't had the time. But as I said in the beginning of this, for those of you who may have just joined us, I've got the Templeton 2000 shotgun coming. I've also been approached about some of the new Lithgow rifles that have come out as well. So, I'm more than happy to have a look at them. Lithgow make a great rifle. I've been very happy with the rifles they've made in the past. So they've got a couple of, different versions of their models that are out at the moment. So I'm pretty keen to have a look at that. There's let me get this right. I think they're probably watching the Eureka 223. They have reached out to me. Yes, I know there's some emails there. I've been too busy to get back to them. But I did also get back to them originally saying, if I review your firearm, it's exactly the way it performs, nothing more, nothing less. I will not be bought or bullied or any of that stuff, as you guys know. It'll be just a straight review. So I'm looking forward to working with them to organise, one of them so that you guys can see that as well. So there are a couple of good reviews there, guys, and I've got a couple to just tidy up, as I say. But yeah, please hang in there and bear with me. I've just had too much on, guys. I can't do it all, and I've done the best I can under the circumstances. So yeah, so please have a think about what I said, in this live update, guys, and look, share it to other people, like other shooters, and just say, they can have a listen to it in the car, because I know the picture's not that good now that it's getting dark. But seriously, guys, like, immediately, shooters need to change their attitude big time. No more. Like, how long is this going to go on? Or just ask yourself if you're just going to ignore it all, like from now, and go, "Oh, I'm not going to be bothered contacting any local members or anything like that." Um, Ask yourself, well, what's the tipping point? Is there a tipping point? That's something that I'd like to hear in the comments below. Is there a tipping point where you will actually say enough is enough and actually stand and fight back? Is there a tipping point where you will say to yourself, okay, they've pushed me hard enough now. I've had a gutful. I'm going to front up at that local member's office and sit down and tell him or her in no uncertain terms, if you support these changes or these restrictions, I will not vote for you. I will do everything I can to turn all my friends, relatives, family away from voting for you. I will not accept this anymore. You have not saved lives over all these last years since 1996 with bringing in restrictions on firearms because of cosmetic appearance, because of calibers, all the rest of it. What is the tipping point, guys? That's what I want to know. Comment below. What is the tipping point? If you've not been involved now, what is the tipping point? What is the tipping point before you get involved in like a march or something like that? Let me try to get a bit more light here, guys. Get involved in like a march, which you can do legally. You can apply for a permit to be able to do that. I'm pretty sure that someone like Shooters Union or an organization in your state or territory would happily do that if they knew they had 500 or 1,000 shooters or more, to be able to march and do things. More of us have to be involved. You cannot leave it to the major players in the shooting industry here in Australia to be able to do everything for you. You just can't. They can't do it all. They need all of us to help. Look at WA. They put out the petition, didn't they, amongst shooters? Out of 80,000 shooters, you guys can probably help me out with this, but I think it was like 13,000 out of the 80,000 that signed against the new laws. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. There should have been at least 60,000 signatures out of those 80,000, to send a very clear message. Because what happens? The bean counters in the government go, yeah, we can afford to lose 13,000 votes. That's how it works, guys. It's a numbers game. And the more that we have the numbers but sit on our backsides and don't do anything, the more they're just going to get away with blue murder, so to speak, and just bring in restriction after restriction because they know that the licensed shooting community are a bunch of apathetic pansies who will not get off their backside and write a letter, get down to their local member, get involved on voting days, hand out pamphlets for minor parties who support our recreation. Like I say, recreation doesn't include just firearms. There's your forward driving, your spear fishing, your fishing, just everything in general. Get out there, guys. We have the numbers. So, in other words, when there's an election on, what I would like you to do is get in touch with the local candidate and say, how can I help? They'll give you ideas, and then you go and get your friends. We've all got decent mates who will help us no matter what. Get your circle of friends to go and help and get involved, and then we'll start seeing some changes. I mean, look how excited we all get when we actually get a change in our favor or we have a win. Everyone in the shooting community just gets so happy and excited, don't they? Well, how about we just all vote as one and we can start having celebration after celebration? And I wouldn't have to waste my time doing live updates on, sorry guys, but we've lost more. I'd love to be doing an update saying, hey guys, guess what? Cat C is now available for voluntary pest controllers. All you need to do is get a letter from a property owner and you're good to go. You can get yourself a Cat C shotgun, Cat C rifle. I'd love to be giving that update. Or, hey guys, suppressors are now legal for all licensed shooters. I'd love to be able to give you that update. All this is possible if we vote as one. That's all you've got to do. Trust me, there is enough of us. If we do that, we can actually have changes. It's that simple. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's clearly just numbers. So, guys, please take a stand before it's too late. If you don't believe me, just watch what is unfolding in WA. That's all I got to say. Guys, I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll catch you very soon on the next review.